Namaste, it's me, Sanjay Kumar Panta from the Department of STEAM Education at Pandu University. Now I'm going to present on my earlier research involvement in MPhil study, which is the use of school gardening as STEAM pedagogy, a study through participatory action research. Here is a background of my research work. Earlier childhood days were well spent in a company with grandfather, where I learned basic mathematical literacies while being in a company with him and working in a farmhouse. But later, as I was admitted in school, I found no such context in learning maths and other disciplines. I'd say curricula were a bit decontextualized, and now you see there are so many things going on in the scene. Government has recently drafted green school guidelines, which says a lot about the importance of one garden and one school, and later came integrated curriculum on the scene. I also got Norhit Rupantaran Fellowship in 2019, whose primary intent was to apply innovative inquiry-based learning approaches to develop teachers' capacity. And with this background, I state the purpose of my study. My research purpose was to explore school gardening as a STEM pedagogy in a context of public school in semi-urban settings, where I came up with three fundamental questions. The one is to know how teachers and students work towards contextualizing curricula through school gardening. And the second one is how this evolved, school gardening, how it evolves as a pedagogical model in STEAM-based learning. And the third one is to unlock the secrets, unlock the challenges and prospects to implement school gardening as a STEAM pedagogy. I went through two lenses, two theoretical lenses. That is the experiential learning theory, which says a lot about the importance of human experiences in learning, and the next one is transformative learning theory of Majuro, which says about critically reflecting on our belief system, value propositions. I went through a bunch of empirical literatures on the contextualized and disengaging curricula and the research is going on in Nepal and in the global scale. And also I was guided with the interdisciplinary approaches to integrate arts and various forms of arts in STEM discipline so as to create interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary STEM curriculum spaces. And also I knew that the garden based learning they were well documented, well connected with the maths and science and other literatures kind of disciplines in school curriculum. And then you see there is a philosophical foundations which guided my research, and it is the participatory action research which says a lot about the importance of co-researchers and researchers in the field so as to generate the knowledge. Also, I considered multi-paradigmatic research design ranging from positivism to postmodernism. My research journey began from 24th September 2019, which went till May 2022, and it was considerably more than a year I spent in the research site. I divided my research journey into three phases: a preparatory phase, gardening phase, and the harvesting phase. In the preparatory phase, we worked to form the school gardening club, managed land masses, constructed ecological sanitations and water management systems so as to run school gardening. And while working on the preparatory phase, it answered my basic question, the first question, which was how teachers and students work towards contextualizing school curricula. And I came with findings such as you see the contextualization can happen based on the learners, based on the place, based on the pedagogical practices we went through and the various disciplinary contents along with the cultural diversity, if taken, if considered in the curricula, it can contextualize our pedagogical practice as well. and and the important thing I documented was, like you see, appreciating local knowledge present in one's culture is the beginning, is the primary step to contextualize our curricula. While working in the preparatory phase, we went through the pandemic, which all of us are aware about, and also pandemic taught a lot. We kept on moving during those hardships as well. Some of the teachers asked us like how it works and really does it work. We came up with few findings such as, you see, the explorations of alternative possibilities were a bit difficult because of the absence of online culture in learners, and also the lack of smartphone along with the poor ability to afford the data packages hindered the possibilities to explore alternative way of learning in school. Later, as the pandemic slowed down, we engaged in ecological sanitations. Actually, ecosan, ecological sanitation, which is all about safeguarding the environment. It conserves water. It basically recycles nutrients that we have and that we harvest. The whole ecological sanitation, the journey can be divided into 4 phases. The first one is the collections of urine from the urinary, from the toilets, and the second was the transportation of urine from the urinary to the school garden, and the third one is the management of the water and the diluents and other important things so as to prepare the fertilizer, and the fourth one is distributions and dilutions in the gardening plots. Uh, you see, I would like to put here a very interesting fact. Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, annually they sell 225,180 metric tons of urea. But if we could harvest, if we could collect urea from the urine of our entire population, it could just outnumber the current demand. We could generate 249,888 metric ton of urea per year. So ecosan, that is the art of growing plants without chemical fertilizer and using the human urine and the biological or the biofriendly processes, actually suggested that we can stand on our own feet. हामी आफ्नै बलबुताले पनि केही गर्न सक्छौँ. No any necessity or the requirement to depend on other countries, and just like we are now we could see a lot of things like even for the rice, for the tomatoes, we are depending on neighboring countries. But even for the fertilizer, which is the heart of the agriculture, heart of the farming, we can depend on our own feet and grow our vegetables. This is a very big findings of our research. It portrays a lot of about how teachers and students worked in designing the water conservation, water management systems, constructions of the urinary tanks, and other various phases of ecosan were well documented. Then after this, we went through gardening phase. We worked with the teachers, students, and the community members as well. And this phase fairly answered our second questions, like how could we come through the innovative pedagogical model of STEAM-based learning. In this phase, we worked to construct the poly house. We designed the research plots, seed sowing, plantation, and the fertigation along with pest management were considered in these phases. This images shows how we conducted the participatory meetings with the co-workers, co-researchers. Our journey. Here is how we worked in the outdoor learning space. The experiential and community-based learning were well featured in these pictures. You see, Teachers, co-researchers were vividly participating in the school gardening. The second picture is about the very green lush, very amazing crops we harvested. And the third one is the about the outer view of our poly house. Finally, while going through the gardening phase, we learned that the four different crops, tomatoes, cabbage, capsicum, and brinjal, were harvested, and they were harvested in fairly large quantities. And in the control, where we used only water, we harvested around 20 kg of vegetables, whereas in the chemical fertilizer treated plot, we harvested 58 kg, and the urine treated plot gave a little more, it's 63 kg, and the plot where we used urine and biochar as a treatment gave the largest amount quantity of crops, which is 84 kg in one plot, and in total we harvested 225 kg. So you see the conclusion can be generated like you see the urine being a rich source of nitrogen along with other nutrients could be inextricably important for sustainable food productions, and along with this the biochar plays a very important, very significant role in food productions, which was well documented in our soil sample analysis report as well. You could see here the plots with urine and biochar treated plot. They generally have stored a fairly large amount of phosphorus and nitrogen compared with the control and chemical fertilizer treated. So another important part of our research journey is we learn to appreciate local resources and knowledge system, and while preparing the biopesticide using the local materials such as the titepati, osuru, and a lot of locally available herbs, uh, we learn to value the local knowledge system as well and locally available resources as well. So another important part is we learn to make a partnership between community and the university, which gave an opportunity for all of the stakeholders. We learn that integration of field-based activities in curriculum might be indicator of the quality of university community collaboration. So the future of community university cooperation will greatly influence uh, the promise and the commitments we make with the co-researchers, our partners. The picture shows how community members collaborated with the university researchers in designing the temporary urinaries in the public space. The last phase of our research is the harvesting phase, where we walk through with and in the school garden, and we generated very beautiful stories about how the gardening products were well connected with the local markets. How it connected is, you see, the teachers and stakeholders were vividly involved in just building the local economies. So we found that school was gradually evolving into a community innovation center. You see, currently these days we could see the hot discussions going on to in a national innovation center. The idea is going on that like how we can work in a national innovation center, but fairly this research gave us a clear indication that compared with the national innovation center, we can immediately start to build a community innovation center if we just work on school gardening in a community schools. So the another important part of my research journey is designing a crop monitoring robot in the second phase of participatory action research, and it gave a lot of ideas about like the how the robotic system can be deployed to understand the pest and the control of the pest, and it generally uh, you see this working with the robotic system in the school garden just give a fair idea about how the learners come up with the various kinds of soft skills such as communications, collaborations, teamwork, and critical thinking. And this was well documented in our qualitative data as well. These days, even you see the journey of school gardening in the community school is still uh, enlarging. We are incorporating various aspects of agriculture and animal husbandry. You could see the pig farming going on there, mushroom farming, kiwi farming, fish farming. So many things are going on there. So school gardening is gradually evolving into integrated school gardening. Uh, with this, the co-researchers, the teachers involved in exploring various STEAM projects based on the school gardening. So later we found that the teachers were preparing almost 25% of their lessons uh, in with the STEAM projects. So this is how you see how the whole entire journey of school gardening were later connected in the pedagogy in the process of teaching and learning. So this is very wonderful, and here is a sample of how the co-researchers teachers prepared a sample STEAM projects for class 8, and they also worked in an assessment plan with the garden-based learning. Finally, garden-based learning can evolved as a pedagogical model in our journey as well. We could see the perspectival shift going on in the co-researchers, which led into the birth of a Nepali STEAM, a Nepali way of knowledge generations. And also the later part of the integration of artificial intelligence in school gardening gave us a fair idea about where we stand from Neolithic revolution to Industry 4.0. Finally, moving on to the reflections and the conclusions of our entire research journey, it helped to create a responsible learners. School garden really involved is useful in solving the real world problems. It generated entrepreneurial skills in learners. Later, I found the school are going through a very beautiful slogan. एक व्यावसायिक सिप सिक्दै र कमाउँदै, earning and learning a skill. It was later included in the school pedagogy, school manifesto as well. So I found that the school gardening can be a wonderful tool for transformative learning experiences, and it enhances the collaborative communication skills and in overall development of learners. It was a wonderful pedagogical tool. The research can be uh, could be useful for government in generating the policies. From the federal to the local government, the research is equally important. And even for the schools and universities, it gives a limitless joy in teaching and learning using the school gardening. The research is equally important and valuable for the community, researchers, policy makers, curriculum developers, writers, agricultural and environmental scientists, computer scientists, and AI experts as well. So here is a bunch of my references. Finally, I'd like to thank Knowledge Rupantaran Project, along with my supervisors, Professor Dr. Balchandra Luitil sir and Professor Manoj Kumar Pandey sir, for going through this research journey, for helping me, guiding me, and there are a number of mentorship team who supported me. Finally, thank you so much for all the audiences and the viewers who beautifully just uh, went through my presentation. Thank you so much. Thank you. Namaste.